On this episode of Why Watch That.
You know, when you first look at it, you think, oh, okay. But when you see the poster, you go, oh.
I thought it was.
So did I.
Yeah, I was
so
like, are we doing like, pulling weaves out?
Listen, Ryan, if anybody can do it, feud, pose. Amanda Plummer in How I Married an Axe Murderer. Just ask her to make you breakfast and see what you get. Just saying.
Oh my goodness. She don't know nothing about no Ratched. She don't want to know nothing about no Ratched. She is fine, thank you. Who is this woman and why is she here? Nurse Ratched has a plan.
Oh, Lord, she does.
She has a plot.
She sure does.
And she's going to use all these people to meet her ends.
She sure does. You better back up, because you don't know who you going to get. That's what I'm going to say about that. You don't know what is coming at you.
Don't get too close.
Yeah.
Just keep your distance.
The performance would make Meryl Streep back it up and go, huh? What is you doing? Let me rewind that and see how you did. Am I lying? Am I exaggerating?
Why Watch That is a podcast featuring the critic
and referee who go head-to-head on a quest to discover the best movies
and TV shows Hollywood has to offer. Expect the unexpected from the critic.
Well, nothing gets past the ref.
We do all the work.
So you don't have to. Welcome to Why Watch That. This episode of Why Watch That is supported by Entrepreneur Meal Plan. It helps leaders and professionals feed their bodies and businesses well. You know, critic, I got a chance to attend a wonderful event by EMP here in Los Angeles. And it was so amazing because Brandy Cochran was able to gather people from all sorts of walks of life. We were able to gather together, have real talk, and some real good food too. It was a hit.
It's food for the soul and the body, which is so hard to find. So if you want to learn more about Entrepreneur Meal Plan, whether you're an entrepreneur or not, go to entrepreneurmealplan.com.
A Why Watch That sneak peek.
Aha! We have a sneak peek for you.
Or aha!
No, it's aha. For me it is. It may be aha for you. Netflix is premiering a new show called Ratched. You have to roll your tongue. Roll your R. Ratched. When you say it. Now, it comes from Ryan Murphy. Now, when you hear Ratched and Ryan Murphy... No, it's not a spinoff of Pose. So let's just let's just get that out of the way.
Yes.
It is not a spinoff. Because, when you first look at it, you think, oh, okay. But when you see the poster, you go, oh.
I thought it was.
So did I.
Yeah, I was like, are we doing pulling weaves out?
Listen, Ryan, if anybody can do it, feud, Pose. If anybody can do it, Ryan Murphy can do it. But it's not that.
No.
Ratched is instead based on the famous character Nurse Ratched. From a very famous book and movie. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Now, it's on Netflix. Already we have a season 1. 8 episodes. Guess what? Season 2 is coming at you. Altogether, we are for sure going to get 18 episodes of Nurse Ratched. Some of you are asking, is this the prequel to, do we see Jack Nicholson? Does he show up? Or the character of Jack Nicholson? Is it the prequel to the movie? And the answer is, based on the writing credit, no, not really the prequel. It is based on the character created by blah, 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 blah. This is Nurse Ratched's backstory, if you will.
Yeah.
Is it a prequel to the movie? I don't know, but as we'll talk about it, we have to talk about the movie in context because that's what's going to attract people to see it. So there is some tone differences. There's some pacing differences. There's also some differences with approach to Ratched, Nurse Ratched. So we have to put that out there because some of you are just going to run. Now, we want to remind everybody that Ryan Murphy has an overall with Netflix. This is his second, I believe, show on that deal. The first one being Hollywood. And you'll see his name, obviously, as an executive producer and a director for an episode. But it is not Ryan Murphy's show. He's show running and writing all the episodes and, doing all he did for the first couple of episodes of American Horror, as well as, Feud and OJ and all those things. It's not that kind of thing, but it is a Ryan Murphy-esque experience. We're going to see writing from Evan Romansky, along with others who will come into this, but it's him and Ryan who are the creators of this. Of a cast: Sarah Paulson. What? Judy Davis? Huh? Cynthia Nixon? What? Amanda Plummer. I have to say, Amanda Plummer in How I Married an Axe Murderer. Just ask her to make you breakfast and see what you get. Just saying.
Oh my goodness.
Corey Stoll, Sharon Stone, Rosanna Arquette, Vincent D'Onofrio. I'm not kidding you. Sophie Okonedo. On and on and on. You're going to see people popping in. Finn Woodruff. People are popping in all over the place. It's everybody's who's who. Looks amazing. Does it pan out? I watched the first 2 episodes. Let's hear what the creative cast to say.
Yes. So it's 1947. Now, orient yourselves in time. This is post-World War II.
Right.
And we are introduced to Mildred Ratched. Mildred is on her way to Lucia, California. That's in Northern California. And she needs a job as a nurse. Why? Why this particular hospital, Lucia State Hospital, which is a hospital that specializes in psychiatric problems. That's what it's for. Of course it is. It's based on Nurse Ratched. Now, before we're introduced to her, though, we are introduced to Finn's character, Edmund Paulson, in violent fashion.
Oh, boy.
I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
Now, why has he gone nuts? Well, you'll find out early on.
Mm-hmm.
So he is also headed for this state hospital.
Oh.
So what's going to happen when the two of them meet, if they do meet? Now, Nurse Ratched, she meets with the doctor there, Dr. Hanover, played by John Briones. What's that like? Does she actually have an appointment? How does she scheme her way into this hospital?
Oh, Lord.
And as she's scheming, you know who's there looking at her? Looking down her nose at her? Judy Davis's Nurse Bucket.
Oh, my gosh. That sounds familiar.
Now, Nurse Bucket, well, it's like Charlie Bucket, but it's not Charlie Bucket.
No, it's not Charlie Bucket.
It's the opposite of Charlie Bucket.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nurse Bucket is the head nurse. She don't know nothing about no Ratched. She don't want to know nothing about no Ratched. She is fine, thank you. Who is this woman and why is she here? Now, there's a reason why Nurse Ratched is hired. She is now working under Nurse Bucket. How's that going to go?
Oh, gosh.
I'll tell you this. If you bring your lunch to work, you better write on it.
Or if you even write on it, you better not take something from it.
Well,
a certain something.
We won't get into that, but you will see what we're talking about. There's one word, Ref, that you said to me. Could you say that to the listeners?
What did I say? I don't know.
When it comes to Bucket and Ratched, you said watch it, and when you get to episode 2, I'll give you one word.
Peaches.
Yes. Peaches. Okay. Now, Nurse Ratched is staying at this, seaside motel, or oceanside, I should say. And at this hotel, a motel, I should say, is Corey Stoll's character, Charles Wainwright. And when Mildred first gets to the motel, first of all, when she gets past the person who owns it, played by Amanda Plummer, Louise, who wants to know who she's going to be staying with.
Nosy woman, isn't she?
And Mildred is like, none of your business.
She showed it. She clapped back.
So after that, she goes, she's led by Louise, the owner, to her room right past Charles's room. And Charles is looking how. So what's happening there? Now, the doctor here at the hospital, Dr. Hanover, he's got his own story. He has his own struggles, but he wants to be a pioneer in psychiatry. He has ideas on how to fix people. He's studied. He's very serious. And he wants his establishment to be funded by the governor, okay, who's played by Vincent D'Onofrio. And this is where Finn's character, Edmund, comes in. If he can prove that he can rehabilitate people and take care of Edmund, then maybe he'll get funding from the governor. Now, the governor has an assistant who works with him, played by Cynthia Nixon, Gwendolyn Briggs. So what's that relationship like? It is 1947.
Wait, an assistant and also...
I won't give anything else away.
All right.
So that's how all of these people start getting entangled. But the whole point is this. Nurse Ratched has a plan.
Oh, Lord, she does.
She has a plot.
She sure does.
And she's going to use all these people to meet her ends.
She sure does.
She will tell one person one thing, someone else another, whatever she needs to do. Backstab, doesn't matter. And it all does have to do with Edmund.
Why?
Why? What is that? What does that look like? Now, another wrinkle in this show is, well, two more I'll give you. The first is Sharon Stone's character, Lenore.
Yeah, because she shows up.
She shows up.
Yes, she does.
This is like, she's like a Rockefeller woman with a monkey on her head.
She got a monkey.
A literal pet monkey.
She does.
She is involved in this as well. She has a certain relationship with Dr. Hanover I won't give away, but oh boy. And that also connects some other characters that I won't give away either, because you won't see this coming. So in the beginning, when you're watching this, you'll be going, why am I seeing this person? How did they connect? Don't worry. You'll see. Okay. Now, the final character I do want to bring up shows up in episode 5. And I texted the ref and I said, you might just want to watch about 10 minutes into episode 5. You might. Because this is when Sophie Okonedo shows up. And she shows up.
Oh, yes, she does.
At first, you're like, oh, this, she's a nice, sweet woman.
Can I just say...
Yeah, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Just make sure if you're going to play some music, do it right. That's all I'll say. You better do it right. And if you got something to say about her saying something about it, you better back up, because you don't know who you're going to get. That's what I'm going to say about that. You don't know what is coming at you.
Don't get too close.
Yeah.
Just keep your distance. Now, I will also say this. If here's a hint. This is as far as I'll go. What Sophie does here is what Toni Collette has done. Halle Berry has done it. Also, why am I forgetting her name right now? Sally Field.
Okay, all right.
Sally Field as well. That's my hint to you. Okay?
Beautiful work, we'll say. Yeah.
The 4 of them have one thing in common. See if you can figure it out. Sophie, Nell, Halle, Sally, Toni. All right. So that was entertaining. And there is a second season. But now let's talk about this review and what you were talking about, Ref, early on to start. Comparing this to One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest is not a horror movie. The horror of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest is that it's not a horror movie. It's about an institution where this is just what they do to people.
People tend to get that. Sorry, you have to say One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest is Jack Nicholson, and so is The Shining. And yes. I know sometimes it's easy to get things mixed up because Here's Johnny is not One Who Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Because when you watch Ratched, you think, oh, it's that character? And It's not.
No. And that's beautifully said. This is more like The Shining.
Yes,
exactly. Not. Yeah, it's not One Flew at all. It is not. So if you haven't seen One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, I would highly recommend it. I did watch little clips of it again, Ref, just to refresh my memory. Mm-hmm. And in that movie, both Jack Nicholson and Louise Fletcher, who played Nurse Ratched, won Oscars.
Yeah.
Okay. And Louise Fletcher was also in Flowers in the Attic. She was the grandmother.
Yes, oh, Lord.
Okay. So, if you haven't seen One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, you can imagine her playing Nurse Ratched. It is deadpan. She doesn't raise her voice for the most part. She manipulates very quietly, and it all looks innocent. She's just doing her job. Okay, and Jack Nicholson plays a character who comes in, who is admitted to the hospital, but he's chaos. He wants to throw things out of order. So,
she don't like it out of order.
She does not like it, but she doesn't snarl. She looks. She smiles. And she's very calm. She'll say, "Oh, you want to watch the baseball game? Well, that's not on the schedule." And Jack Nicholson's going. She goes, "Okay. I don't want to disrupt our patients. It's not just about you, but here's what we'll do. Why don't we just take a vote?" Okay. Now this is happening in group. All of the patients who can be in group are sitting there, and they know Nurse Ratched. So what do you think happens?
Yeah.
So that's the battle there. Now in Ratched, the show, this is like American Horror Story. It really is. It could be an installment of that. If we had this character, you have the horror movie music. Now, Ref, as you would say, it looks amazing.
It does. Costumes. Oh,
colors, all of that looks amazing, but it's horror. Okay, people are bleeding and dying, and people are losing things. I won't give it away. You will see as you're watching what this really fits. So it is not, again, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, but does that work? Now, Sarah Paulson as Nurse Ratched brings the essence of what Louise did in the movie in a horror context. That's what she does. She does tell people quietly, "Now, are you sure that you want to do that?" Okay? Are you sure? So we do have that from Sarah here. And what I liked the most about this, Ref, was when she was scheming.
Yeah.
Now, you will tell us, I will say, the first episode.
Oh my gosh.
When I finished it, I was like, that could be, we just need to lengthen it a bit. It would be a movie.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah.
Great movie. People will enjoy it. They would go, okay, where's the sequel? That was the kind of thing, because it was really about her scheming. What? And the whole time you're going, what is she after? Why am I seeing Finn Wittrock's character? What's this connection? What's happening there? It was interesting.
Ryan Murphy directed the first one, just to say.
He sure did. Then after that, we start losing a bit of that. We start losing the scheming. But here's what I did, everybody. About halfway through, I started skipping through and looking for people I wanted to see. So here's what I did. When I saw Sarah Paulson with Judy Davis, I stopped and watched. Let me tell you this. Outside of making the first episode a movie, what I also thought they could have done was make this a feud installment. Make it feud Nurse Ratched versus Nurse Bucket. Because you have Sarah Paulson and Judy Davis, who, when they dance, it is a nasty, fascinating dance to watch. You will see what that's like. And I was thinking, watching them, I was like, you know what? Nurse Ratched could have been played by Joan Crawford, and Nurse Bucket could have been played by Betty Davis. They really could have. They could have done it. It would have been great. And if we have them, because you have Nurse Ratched trying to get to her ends, trampling Nurse Bucket. Will Nurse Bucket allow it? That would have been fascinating. And you even said, Raf, hey, make it a medical procedural.
Like the Nick, because it's very primal psychiatric treatments that the doctor does. But
exactly. Put it like that. That would have been fascinating. So I stopped and watched that interaction every time I saw it. Also, when I saw Sophie Okonedo, I stopped.
Oh my gosh.
I had to see what was going on there.
If she doesn't get an Emmy for that work. Literally, when I watched only part, because her character develops and you'll see how that happens, but I thought to myself, that is a master class It's the performance. I'm going to put it out there so you can watch it. The performance would make Meryl Streep back it up and go, huh? What is you doing? Let me rewind that and see how you did what. Am I lying? Am I exaggerating?
What I have to say is, there's a switch that flips. Look, we do not laugh at mental illness at all.
No. But she didn't make it funny either. I mean, it shocking.
It was so shocking and unexpected and committed that I laughed through the whole first part.
Yes.
I was uncontrollably laughing.
Me too.
At just where did this come from? I mean, okay. So you will see what that is, because we can't even impersonate it because it would give it away. You've got
No.
If you don't even finish this, just go to episode 5 and see.
Just first 15, 20 minutes. Watch the whole episode. Why not?
Yeah, watch the whole episode because you'll see the whole thing there. So that's the thing about this show, Ref. It's a piecemeal thing. There are parts of it that I really enjoyed. I think that Cynthia Nixon and Sharon Stone were pretty good as well. Sharon Stone's character is almost a foil for Nurse Ratched, and you'll see how that develops. Because at first you're like, why am I even learning about this woman? She has a son and whatever. You'll see what happens with Cynthia Nixon's character, that whole thing, how she informs on who Nurse Ratched actually is. You'll see what that means. And in the end, there is a clear adversary, or clear adversaries, I should say, 2 of them. Who are they and why? And that leads us, of course, into season 2. So I will say that this is it's a mixed bag. I do think that if you are a Ryan Murphy head, if you especially like American Horror Story, then you certainly should watch this. I would say that this is better than Hollywood, definitely by far. A bit of Feud is in there. I probably preferred Feud a little more than this.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, but this isn't bad. It isn't bad. You do have some good performance. I mean, Sarah Paulson's always good. Always. Yeah. I just really wanted more of Sarah Paulson and Judy Davis. If you don't know Judy Davis, everybody, I was saying this to the ref. Judy Davis would be like if we combined Carol Burnett and Betty Davis together.
What a combination.
I mean, the woman, she's thinking thoughts that no one else is thinking. Her posture is just strange. There's a moment when she turns into almost a little girl when she's getting what she wants. It's just hilarious what she's doing here. And having her with Sarah Paulson was just a genius move. And Sophie Okonedo, those 3 were the highlights. I think that the male characters to me weren't that good. They weren't that well developed. And these are some great actors, Corey Stoll, Vincent D'Onofrio, and so on. Finn is doing what he does here. You know, he's almost like a Here's Johnny character.
Yeah.
So you go with Ratched. It's on Netflix. You know what to do with it. Ref, I don't know if you want to add anything to that.
No, I don't. I think that you can check this out. And I just want to echo, lastly, if you are curious, I really want to reiterate, keep going. So, for example, if you watch the pilot and go, oh, I'm going to love this, watch the first 3 episodes and see if it's for you. It may not be for you. I think you'll know right away at the end of episode 2, like I did, if it's for me or not. I watched a little bit of episode 3. So just keep going enough to get the rhythm. Without Ryan Murphy's dipping in that first episode. So there that is. It's available on Netflix. And we're already gearing up for a season 2. So, Ratched, girl, you ratchet.
Thanks for listening. For additional resources, visit WhyWatchThat.com.
Good idea, and we'd love to hear from you. So go ahead and leave comments, feedback, and you can rate us on iTunes.
We'll see you next week.
See you.